Hey, this is Brimstone. You're watching AFK away from the keyboard. Ain't no better place to be than right here watching now.
Further ado, let me introduce Daniel Logan. You know him as Darth Maul. Please welcome Ray Park. And the one, the only, everyone's favorite Wookiee, Peter Mayhew.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to San Antonio.
Yep.
G'day, mate.
Good day.
So we're going to open up the floor to some questions after we let everyone introduce themselves. I think a few of them need little introduction, but if you'd like to say a few words before we open the floor. Daniel?
Oh, sorry. I'm Daniel Logan. I played the little Boba Fett in Star Wars Attack of the Clones. I played that character when I was 13 years old. I was only older 4'5", so I was meant to be a little 8-year-old, so I guess it worked out well. And then, thankfully enough, to not only you guys, the fans, but George Lucas, I was able to reprise the role as Boba Fett in the Clone Wars for 5 years, and got to enjoy that, so that was a pretty cool experience. And now I'm here having fun. I just finished doing a Star Trek Continues web series. I know it's a little crossover tie.
You traitor.
Traitor! I'm on the Enterprise now. But yeah, I'm glad to be here in San Antonio. I'm only gonna be here today. But you have Ray and Peter. They're more fun than I am. I'm just the mouth of the family. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hey, it's good to be here in San Antonio. It's been a nice few days, and I'm really excited to be here this weekend and to meet everyone. And I hope everyone's having a good time. It's good to see a lot of families out there. Yeah. And we really appreciate you coming in and sitting and getting bored listening to us talk. I know you could be out there doing things, but we really appreciate you taking the time to sort of support us, and so I really appreciate it. So thank you.
I'm just going to echo what the other two guys have said. It makes it far easier. No, but seriously, first time show, and you've got crowds like this. Yeah. That is remarkable for any show anywhere in the world, I think, because, you know, you've got all the mixtures are there, and you just, so many different people, so many different cultures, so many, you know, you've even got The Walking Dead, which I'm not going to knock because I like it, but it's nice to see everybody here together and having fun. And you know, for 2 days we're gonna enjoy ourselves. Next.
Yeah. Real quick to recap on what Peter said. It's amazing that, you know, Apple is the coordinator who actually organized for us to come out. He put on the show, him and his family and friends and his crew that he works with. And I mean, like you said, it's amazing for even a community like San Antonio to be able to come out and, you know, bring out this respect to make, you know, us feel even better that you're all here. And those numbers down there were amazing. It's the first convention, and you see that it's a community, you know, and it brings people together, and it's cool that we have this experience, you know, thanks to people like Apple and his whole team. So I'd like to thank them too, you know, because they made us all possible, and now we all just get to enjoy it and have fun, you know. So let's have fun in San Antonio.
Thanks for the volunteers as well, yeah?
Yeah, all the volunteers.
All the volunteers.
Viva l'amico! I'm from New Zealand. How do you like that?
Have you had a chance to visit any of the sites here in San Antonio, the Alamo?
I'm going to do that on Sunday. I was meant to do that yesterday, but I went for a nice run along the river walk, and it's beautiful. I like it.
That was the bar I saw you coming out of.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
There is a lot of nightlife if you're looking for that thing. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and open up the floor to questions, if that's all right with everybody else. First up, yes, sir.
All right, my question's for Daniel. Wow, that's really loud and echoey.
It is a microphone, yeah. So.
You don't need to yell. I understand that. Daniel, big fan of your portrayal of Boba Fett in the Clone Wars, and I know you probably can't say anything, but we're less than a year away from Star Wars Rebels, and Pablo at New York Comic-Con talked about possibility of bounty hunters. Are we going to see you as Boba Fett? And if you can't answer, can you give us something maybe you're excited to see as a fan in Star Wars Rebels?
You know what? When I got the Clone Wars, I used to beg Dave Filoni. Anytime I saw him at lunch, you know, at the hotel, I tried to offer to pay for his room, buy him dinner, anything, you know. I just wanted to be on the Clone Wars. And when I got the Clone Wars, the call, when I first started recording, I went in and I said, Dave, thank you so much, man. All my begging and everything else I did paid off. He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, all that work I did, now I'm in it. And he's like, well, no, George actually asked for you by name. So just the fact that George Lucas still remembers me, you know, and he gave me this opportunity, I don't know where I'm going to go in the galaxy. All I do know is that Boba's bounties aren't over. We did 2 entire seasons of almost every episode I was, you know, in for seasons 6 and 7 of the Clone Wars. But they're not going to release them, and, you know, I want to sit here and tell the stories, you know, because I almost cried when I was reading the scripts. But as of Rebels, for me to be able to give back to what Star Wars and Boba Fett had given me, I'd give it back in an instant, you know. So I pray every night. I want George Lucas and now Mickey Mouse to think about me as much as I'm praying and thinking about them. It used to be only George Lucas, but I got to add Mickey in there now too, you know. So I don't know, man. I just come out, we do our thing, and we hope that, you know, something comes by. But go down to Disneyland and talk to Mickey. I know where his house is.
It's the big castle.
It's the big one, yeah. But you can find them in the little houses next to Minnie. And see how much of a.
It's in Toontown. It's in the back. We've
Look
been
how much of a Disney person I am.
It's behind the castle.
But you know what? With the Rebels, I know that is going to become even a more amazing thing because the Clone Wars brought the kids back to Star Wars. We didn't have that. My age, I had no Star Wars. When I auditioned for Star Wars, they asked me, have you ever heard of the movie? I said, I never heard of Star Wars. They looked at me like, where are you from? And then realized they're auditioning me in New Zealand, you know, in the middle of Lord of the Rings Hobbit land. It's like, oh, I understand now. You know, like, that's why. We'll forgive you, kid, your ignorance.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys,
Hi.
real quick, today's my wife's birthday, and she's right there, and she's like,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Come on, everyone,
to
sing.
you. Happy birthday to you. What's her name? Happy birthday,
Diana.
dear Diana.
Stand up.
Happy birthday to you.
thank you guys.
It's the Daniel Logan show.
Just real quick, I just wanted to know, how does it feel that, for all 3 of you guys, any part that you play or anything, you're forever going to be immortalized as Chewbacca, Darth Maul, and Boba Fett. How does that feel that, you know, that people have like tattoos on their body of you guys?
Can we see your tattoo?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Having been around for probably the longest, we're having seen also a lot of tattoos. there are some in some wonderful places, and there are some in some diabolical places that I wouldn't even look at. So, you know, it's great that if someone is that dedicated to have a piece of skin coloured to their character, that says great. You know, it shows the fandom is there. It's not only the books, the music and everything else, but they go to put a tattoo on a body. And, you know, that's dedication to me.
You know, I've even been asked to sign people's arms
Yes.
and legs, and they've had that tattooed
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Well, I had one. He came in on a Saturday afternoon, and he said, "Can you sign my arm?" Yeah. Came back next day. It was tattooed. Amazing. So
Money well spent.
it was, you know, it was there. He was there, and that was his life. You know, she's wonderful. Up to, you know, if it's what you want, enjoy it, do it.
I grew up with Star Wars and Thundercats and G.I. Joe and He-Man. You know? So for me to sort of be doing what I'm doing, I'm sort of reliving my childhood. But when I landed the part as Darth Maul, for me it was just a big break. Like, oh, now I'm finally I'm being an actor, and I'm able to sort of maybe, you know, have a career but now doing these conventions is what really extended it. That's where I really get the pleasure now, meeting all the fans and the response from the character. And it's really kept my enthusiasm up as well, because there's been a few times like, do I want to carry on being an actor, or should I just go back to teaching martial arts? And so when I meet everyone, I'm really inspired, you know, and the dedication. So I feel very lucky and very blessed to have support from the fans, so thank you.
And it's when you walk into a convention like this that you get that buzz.
Yeah.
There's a buzz about it. Thursday, people are setting up. Friday, you go in. All the actors come in. You have a relatively good weekend, and you go home. Yeah. And everybody is happy, or should be. Yay.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
buddy.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a real quick story real quick. So back to the tattoos. I have some friends who tattoo. They're actually really good artists. They say to me, "Hey Daniel, you want to learn how to tattoo?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" He's like, "Well, you want to tattoo me?" I'm like, "Okay." I do a big Mandalorian skull. I got it on my phone, about this big on his leg. And they're teaching me. There's 5 of them right behind me. Like, no, pull the skin. Oh, more Vaseline. Stretch it. Oh, no, digging too deep. Angle. I got to do my own Mandalorian skull on some other guy, a poor guy. He now has to live with it for the rest of his life. My first tattoo ever I did too.
You actually did one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if you ever need one, Peter, if you ever need a tattoo, one moko on your face.
If I ever need a tattoo, I won't come to you.
I was about to say, my books are quite open right now, and I was actually going to take scheduling if you needed one.
It would take a lot more courage to have a tattoo from you than I had need.
We'll start with a Sharpie first.
Than I had for the energy that my knee tattoos, knee surgery actually caused me.
You see, you got cool stories. Scar's got cool stories behind him, you know? I love all my scars.
It's a bit like Lethal Weapon, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, this one was when I shot in the back, and they're comparing scars and wounds.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, right here, young man.
Where is he?
All I have to say is I love Star Wars.
Oh,
Hey.
thank you.
And Star Wars likes you too, pal.
Yeah.
Sir.
This one's for Ray. With your roles in G.I. Joe as Snake Eyes and Darth Maul and Toad, do you prefer roles where you're under makeup?
Sometimes I have no choice. Like in the beginning, it's like you try and be sensible about the ones that you take on, but as starting out as an actor, you try and take as much as you can. And so when I got asked to play Darth Maul, I didn't want to be a bad guy first, Because growing up as a kid, I was always, when we played cops and robbers, I was always the cop. I never wanted to be the bad guy. I wanted to take my top off, save the world, and get the girl. That was the sort of thing I envisioned me as an actor. So when I got asked, I was really worried about being a bad guy, because I never rooted for the bad guy in movies. But it's been kind of fun, and Toad as well, and Snake Eyes. And as I've got older, I like to bring a character to life. So I don't mind if you see my face or hear my voice, as long as I get to do what I'm doing and have fun with it. And I've had fun with all of my roles because I get to pretend and be silly sometimes. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Batman.
I've seen like all of your movies, so I just want to ask all of you a question. What was it like being in Star Wars?
That depends on who you talk to. Obviously, if you're going to, if you've been in it from the original, which gives you a good idea of what's going on. But obviously, when Ray and Daniel came in, you knew the story, but you didn't know exactly what was going to happen, what your character was. So you have to form that character around the other characters that are there. Summing up in one word, I had a hell of a time in Star Wars. And that is due to you and everybody that is involved in the Star Wars universe, because it is a universe now.
Yeah, it is.
Think about it. But obviously, when you're an 11-year-old, was it 11, Daniel?
13, yeah.
13.
I was meant to be 8.
So, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody says, oh yeah, wouldn't it be super? It would. But when you look at it in a different way, it depends on what you want out of a job. If it's a job or is it a dedication? You don't know until you actually start using your skills and the makeup and everything else that you need to enjoy yourself. Ooh, sorry. So that's basically that's my answer.
For me, it's I grew up with, of course, Star Wars was the first movie I saw on the big screen, and that got me into doing. It's when I watched Empire Strikes Back, and Luke had to do the training with Yoda, and he had Yoda on his back, and he was doing handstands and front somersaults. That's when I realized I want to do martial arts, and one day I want to be able to have a Yoda on my back and do front somersaults. So I wanted to learn gymnastics, and lucky us, we get to meet Peter. Growing up watching Peter, and now we're like on stage, and you get to meet your heroes and idols. So I feel very honoured, and I had fun because I was competing for Great Britain at the time, and I was training about 12 hours a day. So rehearsing on set was just the same as my training, but the difference is I was playing a character, and there was no pressure of trying to win the gold medal or anything like that. I was just having fun playing Darth Maul, so it was a blast for me. I was actually a little depressed when we wrapped up the filming, because at the end of the shoot, we filmed the fight scene. That was the last thing we did. And when we all wrapped up and said goodbye, I sat at home and I was like, what am I going to do now? For 6 months, I was playing Darth Maul and having fun and enjoyed it. So, and now it's extended, like I said before, get to meet you guys, and it's a blast.
Yeah, it's kind of it's funny, people ask, hey, so what's the coolest thing about being Boba Fett? And I said, those 2 words. What? I'm like, well, it's amazing, you walk into a room, you're like, hey, I'm Daniel Logan, and they're like, oh, nice to meet you, Someone turns around and is like, no, that kid's in Star Wars. He was Boba Fett. Oh man, nice to meet you. And it's like, what happened to Daniel Logan, I was just Daniel Logan 2 seconds ago. Now I'm Boba Fett again? Oh. But
You should introduce yourself. Go, hey, I'm Boba. Fett.
You know, Jango Fett does that.
Fett, Boba.
Tim, he does that. And it's because we don't do that, you know. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm Jango Fett in Star Wars. And I think, man, I should do that. You know, many people give extra service at like restaurants and hotels and stuff. I should embrace that. Hey, I'm Boba Fett. Like, what'd you just say? No, but I think the coolest thing for me on Star Wars, my wife, she tries to tell me, come up with new stories, you know, create new stories. And it's funny because I have so many stories and I just don't tell them. And one of my stories was, I had my last days of filming was in San Francisco. Well, George Lucas flew me and my little sister and my mother out. And then after I filmed, he sent us down to Disneyland. And we got to enjoy the park and hang out and got this beautiful hotel, you know, and he provided it for us all. And I mean, even after filming, you know, I've been able to be a blessed young man to be able to get what I've been able to have in life. And even things like that, George Lucas still thinks about you like today. And thankful to George Lucas, that's why I'm actually here, because not only with Star Wars, but he wrote me a handwritten letter for my immigration. So my lawyers said, well, go back to New Zealand for 6 months and we'll call you if you get approved. So I waited 4 days, I went back, I was there for about 4 hours and my lawyer calls me and she's like, you are not gonna believe this. And I was like, well, what? She's like, you've been approved, you can come home, welcome home. And I'm like, what? She's like, you must have got the biggest Star Wars fan that just never met George Lucas, you know? Like, saw his autograph, like, who's this Daniel Logan? Oh, approved. You know, so it's helped my life and my family in so many ways, you know, and it's cool just to be Boba Fett.
Sir in the green.
I have a funny story. It was maybe a year after filming Phantom Menace, and my wife and I were in London, and we went to the Hard Rock. So we're sitting there, and I look over, and George Lucas is over by the, he's across the room. And I went all fanboy, like I worked with the master for so many months, and then he's sitting right there, and I was so nervous to go up and say, you know, hi to him. So I introduced myself, hi Mr. Lucas, I'm Ray, I played Darth Maul, I don't know if you remember, because most of the time I was in makeup. And he was cool, and so I had a fanboy, geeky moment, and I couldn't believe I got really nervous to go and say hi to Mr. Lucas, you know?
Yeah.
All right, sir in the green.
Yes, I would just like to ask a question of the fact that for some of the young writers out there, well, first off, who doesn't in here like Star Wars? Raise your hand if you like Star Wars. That's right, yeah, okay. And...
G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
Yo, Joe!
X-Men? Sleepy Hollow?
Oh, thanks, man.
This guy, he's amazing. His characters, they're amazing.
You're amazing.
What about
you're still in my Sunday coming in doing butterflies on stage. What am I supposed to do after?
Well, with a master like you, I'm the show off of the family.
We were talking backstage about Banana Man. Were there Banana Man fans here?
Yeah, Banana Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up as well. We were talking about it.
Banana Man.
Does anyone know about Banana Man? It was a cartoon? Yeah, cool. Excellent. You eat a banana and Eric from down the road turns into a Banana Man.
Yeah. There's like 3 of us here, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Enough about Banana Man.
I just wanted to ask, for some of the young writers in here that might want to get into science fiction writing, what can you give them for advice on how to start and where to start?
You know what? Like I've tried to write, I have some ideas for movies and stuff like that, but it's just being patient and sitting down and keeping at it, you know? And you know, watching other movies and TV shows helps too, you know? So, yes, it's like acting, you just got to stick it out. And sometimes you might not work for about a year or so, but and then coming to the shows as well, like the conventions and meeting other artists and other writers and talking to the actors. I think that really helps, you know, sharing ideas.
Have you ever gone online and just gone and downloaded scripts?
No, not yet.
If you ever do your own research, you gotta realize how lucky we are to live in this day and age with technology the way it is provided for us. I mean, you would have had to go to a studio and steal all their scripts back in the day, you know. But now you can go online, type in this script off this movie, and it will pop right up. Well, if you sit and watch the way these people write, there's a sequence to how to write a script. There's things that need to be.
It's like final drafts, isn't it? You can get final.
That's one of them, final draft. And I just type it in Google like scripts, and then I steal whatever one comes up on Google first, you know, and it just brings up a whole lot of scripts. But you'd be amazed from where you could do your own research like that, dude. Like, if you watch the way people do it, there's always the same things that happen in every single movie. It just happens differently. There's a villain, there's a hero, there's a girl, there's a sacrifice, there's a loss. And you have to learn these processes. But even if to learn them, you could get some of your friends from school, go down to your local park, go to a little thrift shop or secondhand shop, buy some old clothes from back in the day, costumes, dress up, go and film them and do them yourself, you know, or alter people's scripts, you know, and change wording and make your own script. I mean, that's what we're doing today. We're recycling. That's all we're doing. So, I mean, if I give you any advice and you really want to do it, get some of your friends together, go get a cheap little camera, go buy some cheap clothes, $10, $15 for a whole costume or 2 costumes, and go and do your stuff, man. You know, you have the world at your fingertips, man. You don't understand. Me and Ray, we're not even from this country, and we're here, sitting here, and, you know, part of Star Wars, man. So if we can, you can do it.
Lucky.
We are.
We've got time for one last question.
Thank you.
This young Jedi Knight right here.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
This is a question for Darth Maul. How did it feel like getting your legs cut off in the Phantom Menace?
You know what? I was feeling a little bit like podgy anyway. So when George said he was going to cut me in half, I said, "Just can you take a bit off the side here?" And I tell you a little story about that because I didn't know how to do a death sequence, and I didn't know what kind of face I should make being sliced in half. So I thought about it, and I thought, what would happen if a lightsaber cut me in half? So I just thought about needing to go to the bathroom for a number 2, and I was going, and that's the face I made for don't tell anyone, no. See, some, you know, you have a funny story about that, you know? So if you ever watch it again, you watch the end fight scene, you know I'm thinking about going for a number 2, you know?
One last...
Thanks, buddy.
One last thing, Peter, we know you just had surgery last month, and if you're feeling up to it, there's nothing more we'd like to see than you to stand for the first time on stage since your surgery for the fans, if you're feeling up to it, of course.
Well,
right.
You want to stop your feet?
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a giveaway here. You all received blue tickets, and Peter, if you wouldn't mind drawing a name for us, or drawing a ticket for us.
give them to one of the other guys.
Ray, would you mind drawing?
No. Nah, I've had my highlight. What's he got? Oh, Chewie. Yeah.
This is for a Sideshow Collectibles Indiana Jones statue. The winner is ticket number 450118. 450118.
Are you here? Identify yourselves.
Yeah! Congratulations, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Logan, Ray Park, and Peter Mayhew.
Thank you.